This episode is rated M for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect those of the PFC Entertainment Network or any of the affiliates that make this show possible.
This is the Pure Fury Creations Entertainment Network.
I'm Jason Clouse. And over the course of my life, I've done a lot of different things, and I've worn a lot of different hats. But this may be my greatest endeavor yet. On this show, we are going to focus on life. We are going to focus on the basic fundamentals. We are going to focus on the silver lining. Because no matter what happens, no matter what is thrown our way, there is a silver lining. There is a lesson to be learned. Sometimes we just have to look a little bit harder, a little bit deeper for it. That's what this show is all about. Sometimes it's going to be rough, sometimes it's going to be raw, sometimes it may be hard to listen to. But it's something that you need to hear. This just got real.
And now, the Pure Fury Creations Entertainment Network presents its flagship show, the Clouse to the Heart podcast. Here is your host, Jason Clouse.
And we welcome you to a very special edition of the Clouse to the Heart podcast, the flagship show of the PFC Entertainment Network. And if you got the notification, one of the reasons why this is kind of a unique recordings session is because, well, I'm live streaming this as we're doing this on a Saturday night at 10:30. And, I said, if you listen to the other shows, especially the Sports Reel podcast on Wednesdays, live streaming is going to become more of a frequent thing. And when opportunity arises, when there is a window, an open time frame, and I'm in the right mindset, this is where this becomes very beneficial. And I look at this knowing that no matter what happens here, no matter what is talked about, this is getting uploaded to the RSS feed for the usual time slot on Tuesdays. So, even if you're not watching this live, as we're really simulcasting this across 3 different platforms here tonight, obviously our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and Riverside.fm. And for the first time ever on this particular program, you, the listener or the viewer, if you are watching this live, you get to correspond in real time, either through the live chat on the PFC Entertainment Network Facebook page, or if you are on that chat, you will see a link there. If you click on that, hit a couple of buttons, you can actually be a part of the show and be a part of the conversation live as it happens. So this is going to be kind of cool. I'm still kind of working out the bugs because this is something of a new feature here for our network. So I'm still getting used to what has to happen for this to run as smoothly as possible. But what I do know is if you are looking to get onto the show, and once you go through all the hoops, I guess, for the lack of a better term, it will put you in a virtual waiting room. And I get a notification, and when it's time, or whatever the case may be, I hit a button and it brings you right on the screen with me. So it's going to be kind of cool, and I think we have a topic here that is going to really resonate with people, because this was sent. My buddy Josh had sent this in, and he's like, "Do something with this," and I know what his intentions were. Just the way the whole thing was worded, do something with this. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh, this is going to get sticky, for the lack of a better term. And like, it had me feeling a certain kind of way. And when I was looking at this, I'm like, holy shit, I have been a toxic person to myself. And as I was going through this and kind of thinking about how I wanted to approach it, there are so many aspects and so many people that I have come across throughout the course of my lifetime where examples were just firing off left and right. I'm like, yeah, this is going to be one of those topics that's going to get people thinking. It's also going to be one of those topics that people are going to get a better insight on what makes me tick, and why that comes under scrutiny sometimes. But hey, it is Saturday night, and we are live across three social media platforms. We got a nice tasty beverage here in my absolute favorite beverage cup, and I do not give a flying fuck. So with that being said, man, before we get into this, let me check the chats real quick. Good to see you, Dave. Appreciate you tuning in. Dave comes in to the majority, if not all, of our live streams, and this guy is a hoot. He really makes me chuckle. So good to see that he's on here, and everybody else that is tuning in here. Okay. This came across my radar from my buddy Josh, and when I got to looking at this, I was like, this is going to trigger people. It's going to, because it did me. Now, the cool part with me is that I recognized a long time ago what I was doing and how it was a contributor to how I view things, how I felt about things, how I looked at the world, and specifically what I was willing to put up with. Because anybody who has known me on any level for any length of time knows that, it's not necessarily been smooth sailing. We'll just say that. But as I sit here now, I can honestly tell anybody and everybody that, I am in the best place that I have been on so many levels. I am more focused. I am more motivated. I am more supported. Things are trending in the right direction across the board. And, I am a very lucky person. But as I look back, I realized what I was doing wrong and how I was by this list, I was toxic to myself a lot. And one of the first words that popped in my mind at that point was self-sabotage. And then I started thinking about different aspects of my life where I really had sabotaged myself. I was toxic to myself for a number of different reasons and things that I'm going to touch on as we move down this list here. And some of you will agree. Some of this will be relatable, probably a little bit too close to home. Maybe some of you, this isn't a thing that you recognize or that can be applicable to your life. And if that's the case, well, you're living a charmed life, and bless your heart. Okay, let's see here. I got a couple. Okay. These are 7 signs you're being toxic to yourself. Okay. The first one here is you apologize a lot even when the fault is not yours. Who? Scratch that. How many times have you done that? How many times have you apologized to another individual even though you were not at fault, just in an effort to get past whatever the argument or the disagreement was? It was more important for you to just tap out and do what was deemed by somebody else as the right thing. I think about that. I think about how many times I've done that. I've apologized, even though I knew I wasn't in the wrong, but just to shut it down, because it was reaching that fevered pitch, right? I was just like, no, I can't do this, and I know that the quickest and easiest way to get out of that environment, that situation, that circumstance is to just submit. I'm going to tell you something. I don't do that anymore. And when I don't do that anymore, it does, in all honesty, it does prolong that very uncomfortable situation. But at the same time, I have a renewed sense of self-respect, and I will be goddamned if that's going to be compromised ever again. And that has been one of those things that has caused me the greatest source of contention with other individuals in my life, because they had gotten used to a version of me where it was real easy to just walk right over top of me. That ain't a thing anymore. It just is not a thing anymore. Oh, I have a guest waiting here in the lobby. And it appears that soon to be joining us here, it is Tim Sheridan, host of the Sports Reel podcast on Wednesdays. Good evening to you, my friend. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hold on a second here. I'm fucked up, man. Like, I had it going. Hold on. I had it going on Facebook, and I'm like, why the fuck do I hear a weird-ass echo? This doesn't make any fucking sense. It makes sense now because I had it going on Facebook, so I was double hearing you in Riverside and on Facebook. So, yes, I got double Jason tonight, and it was fucking excellent. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. How are you? It's good to see you.
I'm having an excellent Friday night. Let me tell you, I'm about 6 beers in. It was a good week. All right, what fucking day is it? Hold on. Is this Saturday?
It is. Yeah.
Hell yeah, it's Saturday. I'm 6 beers in. And I'm buzzing a little bit because I only ate chicken today. So
is that?
Yeah.
like homemade chicken or?
Oh yeah, yeah. Amy makes this fucking excellent chicken, and like I fucking love it. So all I ate was chicken today. So the beers are catching me. I may have had more than 6. I don't know how many I've had. I'm not gonna lie. My fridge is getting low though. I got to catch up tomorrow. Grocery day tomorrow. Beer run.
Right. No, I understand that.
And
Hey,
I'm
man.
screaming at my TV because it's Masters Week, and just like I thought it was going to be, it's Rory and Bryson leading the pack right now into the final day. So,
Is that right?
yes, sir.
This is the final day here, right now.
No, final day is tomorrow.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, do you have a prediction?
I mean, my prediction before the whole thing started was, Rory and Bryson were going to run with this thing, and they're 1 and 2 going into the final day. I wouldn't be mad with either one of them winning. I think it'd be cool to see Rory win because I think it's been 11 years since he won a major. But I would also be happy with Bryson winning because he's never won the Masters. So neither one of these guys have ever won a green jacket. So I'd be happy either way. So that's what my plan tomorrow is to watch the Masters.
I have been keeping up with the TikTok videos about the match. I specifically went out there to put it in there so it would pop up on my algorithm so I can be more educated when we do the next episode of the Sports Reel podcast this Wednesday night. So looking forward to that. Absolutely. Hey, let me ask you this. We're talking about the 7 signs you are toxic to ourselves. How many times, if any, have you apologized even though you were not at fault?
I mean, I've probably done it, but I try not to.
Right.
I mean, I can't think of any examples off the top of my head. It's not something that I try to do, but sometimes you got to eat crow and just be the bigger man and apologize for some shit that's not your fault.
That's exactly what I was saying right before I brought you into the show, because I have a list here of 7 signs that we are toxic to ourselves, and that was at the top of the list. And I was like, man, how many times have I done that in a professional setting as well as a personal one? Probably more in a personal setting, but it's when I think about that and how much further along would I had been if I had just stuck to my guns. But at the same time, it's like, man, you don't want to escalate the conflict anymore, especially if it starts getting, cranked up to around the 10, 11 mark, where it's getting off the rails. I don't know. It's part of self-growth, when you stop doing that kind of thing.
Where'd you go? Did it boot me? No, there you are. This one goes to 11.
Oh, this is going to be great.
Oh, shit. It's the wife. She heard me talking shit.
Amy Sheridan has joined us, host of the Real Podcast here on the Pete. Man, this is becoming a thing, man. Should I just put the topic off to the side right now? Because
I love this topic because I don't ever get to talk anything besides sports. Where'd my wife go?
I don't know.
Did we lose? No, there she is.
Hi. Amy, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. It just took me a minute because something's wrong with the internet. It's probably Tim's big fucking head, taking it all up.
What the fuck are you talking about? My head is dainty.
You know what I'm talking about.
Very dainty head.
I want everybody to know this was not planned. This is
No, it wasn't.
As it can be.
This is called a takeover.
You got that shit right. Like the Sheridans are taking over Clouse to the heart. So this is great. You want me to just shut the fuck up and I'll just let you guys take over?
No, but I just wanted to pop on and say that Rory's going to win the Masters. And whoever says any differently, like that David Melbourne, I don't even know who the fuck he is, saying that John Cena was going to do a run-in. Well, he's just saying.
Oh yeah, he did say that too. I predict that John. I'll go ahead and put it up on the scene. I predict that John Cena will do a run-in. That's fun.
How do you even see the chats?
I know how you do it.
Unless you go to the live,
The Facebook thing?
yeah, on PFC Network.
Got
Pops
you.
up on there. Yep. Amy, we're talking about the 7 signs that we are toxic to ourselves, and I said, yeah. So the first one on here, and this is where I was at when Tim came on. You apologize a lot, even when the fault is not yours. Have you done that?
I don't do it a lot, and with that one in particular, but I know 2 people that do, and it's the most annoying. Like, I don't do it a lot because, like, I don't really apologize for things.
Right. That is absolute fact.
She's done it twice in our whole marriage. Twice. That's it.
Well, that's because it's because I'm rarely ever wrong. Just saying. Um, when I am wrong, like I will totally admit it though. But my Aunt Pam, oh my God, it's like every every sentence. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, it's like, what the fuck are you? What are you sorry for? Like, stop it. And you have to like literally tell, like, you're doing it again. You're doing it again. And my friend Jessica does that too, like a lot. And she totally reminds me of my Aunt Pam. Like, they didn't do anything wrong, but if they see like your face and they see like if you maybe disagree with it, like with what they're saying, they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry," and it's like, "Oh Jesus, if you don't shut up and stop saying you're sorry for voicing your opinion, like, I'm gonna punch your face."
It's on that level.
Yeah. So I mean, I definitely don't like apologize when I'm not in the wrong, but when I am in the wrong, I will apologize unless it's something stupid. Like, Tim is famous for fact checking me, and he's a douche when he does it. If I say something, and he knows exactly what I'm talking about. If I say something, this motherfucker will go directly to his phone and fucking fact check what I just said. And normally he doesn't say anything after that, but then on the rare occasion he'll be like, "No, it's this." And then I'll be like, "Oh my God." Like, and I won't even apologize for being wrong because that was like such a douchebag move to fact check me in the first place.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That was phenomenal. Okay. Hey,
I she caught my comment there while she was reading along. You might want to repost that one so she can catch it because I'm just apologizing.
Bryson fuck you. Bryson DeChambeau is not going to win the Masters. Like, Rory is already up. He's on a good streak. He just needs to have a great fucking day tomorrow. And not even like a really great day. Like, everyone else needs to have a really great day to catch up to him. Okay, enough about golf. What's number 2, Jason? Hit us with number 2.
Number 2, Ms. Sheridan. You keep hanging out with people who treat you badly.
Oh, I'm so guilty for that.
Yeah.
That okay, so 2024 and 2025, these are my years for figuring that out. I had no idea that that was like a thing. Like, I just thought friends, family, like the friends that you hang out with, you know what I mean? And well, and actually not even 2024, like more like 2023. I had a best friend for over 30 years, and she did some unspeakable things, like things that you just don't do to like a sister type person, and I had to let that shit go. Like, and it's still hard. It's still so hard. And I just, after that, I'm like, it gave me a sense of I am not going to stand for people treating me like a doormat anymore. Like, if you treat me like crap, you're done. You're out. Because if I could cut that one person out that I never thought that I could ever cut out, then all the rest will be easy. And it was. It was. Like, an even family members. Like that I don't want to really go into.
Sure.
But, you know, yeah, like it's hard, but the sense of peace that I feel, and me not allowing people to treat me like shit anymore and use me as a doormat and use me when it's like convenient for them, it has helped me out so much. And, my husband finally coming clean with who he thinks treats me like crap after I've gotten rid of them. It that helps a lot too. Like, so it's reassurance that I'm just not overreacting, because I think that we question ourselves when something like that happens. And I'm glad that I kind of have like that reinforcement to know like that what I'm noticing is not just me. You know what I mean? Like that other people are noticing it too.
You bring up a very interesting point here. So let me ask you this. Would you rather have known during the course of the friendship or the relationship, whatever you want to label it, would you rather have known during it from Tim if he was seeing something or feeling something like, man, something is not square here, something is off? Would have rather him tell you that during the relationship, or is it just as important to just know even after the fact?
Um, well, the best friend thing, that was pretty like heart shattering. And I think that even if I would have known 10 years prior that she was like that, I d- like I don't know, man. Like, I don't think that it would have made a difference. Like, I would have hurt just the same. And the thing is that sometimes we do kind of figure it out, and like we tell them, "Hey, look, don't treat me like shit." You know what I mean? Like, I notice you treating me like crap. And like creatures, we're creatures of habit. So because we like want this acceptance from other people, we tend to go back to that. And we tend to buy excuses, and we tend to forgive a little bit too easily. And like I'm down for forgiving, because I totally forgive my ex best friend now. Like, I forgive her, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to subject myself to that treatment again. And that's the difference. Like, I'm she didn't even know I forgive her, because she could probably give two shits less. But for me, I forgive her. You know what I mean? Like, for me,
Sure.
I can let that go and just be sad, like just a little bit, but knowing that like my life is better, and now seeing things without the rosy glasses. Like, I think it takes something significant, like something truly significant, to make you truly realize how the person is. And she didn't used to be like that. So there was something in her that changed, and something in me that changed. And I think we just turned out to be two completely different people with completely different morals and completely different ideas on what a true friendship is. and like with the family member, there were two, and it's the same thing. It's, you kind of like know that they treat you like that and you've been subjected to it before, but it takes something significant for you to be like, you know what, fucking enough is enough. Like I don't need this. So it's kind of like sometimes you don't see it before. Would I have liked like a little crystal ball, I guess? You know what I mean? To
Mhm.
see that that person was going to change into the person that they are now? I don't know, because I think the hurt would still be the same. You know what I mean? Um to like acquaintances that you're just kind of like, "Oh my god, like I'm not going to let you treat me like that, but I'm not as close to you so I can just cut you out." I mean, I think when you open your eyes to that situation, like when you've been in a situation like having to let someone go and cut you out of, or cut them out of your life, I think that it also opens your eyes up to a bigger issue, which is now identifying when someone is like really treating you like crap, and like it, like gaslighting you, and telling you things that they probably shouldn't be telling you, but they're saying it to you anyways, and it's like condescending, and I think you pick up on those little things a lot easier when you've been through that and your eyes are open to it now, you know what I mean? So I think it helps identify the people that are just not your people easier, if that makes sense.
No, it makes total sense. Tim, have you ever had to make that hard decision on to cut people out of your life just because they weren't good for you?
Yeah, when I was way younger, but as I grew, into my more mature ages, if you can call it that. I think my wife would consider me not mature. Um, but I don't allow toxic people to be in my life. So I just instantly cut that out like as quick as I can because I don't like toxic people. So I don't really fall into that category of somebody who would fall into that because I just cut it out as soon as I see it.
I think that's a big part of the discrepancy is some people, for one reason or the other, even though the situation provides by definition a toxic relationship or situation, in their minds they don't identify it as that. Even if you bring it to their attention, this is a very toxic person, this is a very toxic relationship. Much to what Amy was saying earlier, they will buy excuses, or in my case, and you both know by working for me in the MWO how many times I gave people the benefit of the doubt more than they deserve in a lot of cases. But when you translate that to real life, especially when you have an established or a long running friendship or relationship, you don't, there's a part of you that doesn't want to admit that this person or relationship is toxic because you have so much time and all the memories and this, that, and the other thing of when things were good. But now that they've turned, as it does happen in life, it's not necessarily one person's fault or the other unless they become a total douchebag and just change how they go about life fundamentally. We have to justify it in our mind or come to the realization like this is toxic. And on a personal level, once I started doing that, I'm like, you interrupt my inner peace. When I am around you, when I hear you, when I talk to you, I feel very uneasy. And then you identify, why do I feel uneasy about this person? And if it's something that you know that you're not going to be able to look past or whatever, that choice has to be made. And I've made some tough ones. I've cut, people that I've known out for 25 years. It sucks. I had 25 years of memories with them, but they no longer serve my inner peace. And that's more important than anything at this point, especially at this stage in life, man. I'm just not fucking with it. Much like what Tim's saying, I don't even entertain that bullshit anymore. Just the littlest thing that's like, oh, that is a red flag. I am not fucking with this. I do not have the time. I just don't have the time. So that gives me time to focus on what I do deem important, the people that I deem important. They're the ones that deserve my absolute best. If something's toxic, it compromises that, and it just isn't worth it to me. I do not give a fuck what it is or who it is. And that's the part that people have the biggest issue with. I can walk away from a motherfucker without thinking twice about it. But if I do, it's because I've already thought about it. You know what I mean? And when I come to that decision, when I say I'm done, I'm done. End of story. That is the point of no return.
Now let me ask you this. You had said like once they raise a red flag to you, you're just like, okay, that's it. So do you normally, is it like do you wait for like one red flag, or do you kind of, because like I always want to assume like the best in people. And I know that people can have like really just shitty days because we never know what someone else is going through.
Sure.
So do you wait for just one flag, or do you kind of give them like a couple flags, and then you're just kind of like, no, this is just not for me? Because I tend to give people a couple flags to find, and maybe that's like maybe that's not good. But again, you never know what someone's going through. So like I tend to give people more flags than maybe I should.
Depends on how severe in my mind the first flag was.
True that.
If it's something that is a direct representation of how they are as an individual, and it is on a level that I just fundamentally in too many boxes don't align with, it ain't happening. Straight up. And then that could be something that I regret later on down the line. I'll own up to it if that's the case. But here's the other thing, Amy, and you guys know this as well as anybody. I feed off people's aura. I feed off their energy. You don't fake that shit. That's as real as it gets, man. And if there's something that makes me feel icky, there's a reason. There is a reason why. So, all right, the third one on here, you keep checking your phone for messages when there are none.
I don't have that issue.
I don't have that issue either. I if I could be honest, I hate this motherfucker. I really do. I don't
hate it. I just, when I'm playing my sluts, aka slots.
Okay. I was like, what?
Like I just don't want to be bothered by like calls and texts. And usually like it's like one of like three people that it really could be. It's either Tim, my friend Jessica, or my brother.
And I'm the last person she wants to talk to.
I am not. You are not, and you know that. But yeah, I don't check my phone for messages, and actually, I probably should, because sometimes I just miss them like completely, and then they'll call and be like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, why? Well, I texted you. Fuck, shit,
No,
terrible."
That's how I have mine set up. Everything else is on do not disturb, but there is a block of people that if they were to call or text, it overrides that. those are the people that I want to talk to. And if you're not on that list, I mean, I'll see it eventually, but I'm not. I do not. I will not be one of those people that is constantly checking their phones. I have such like that. It's a thing with me. It bugs me to no end. Bugs me to no end. Like, what the fuck is so important that you have to keep checking your shit, especially when you're in the course of a conversation, and they're, what the fuck are you doing? You know, that tells me you're more interested in what could be popping up on your phone than what it is that we're having a conversation about. And if that's the case, what the fuck are we even talking for? You know what I mean? I don't know, but if you're at a point in your life where there's not a lot of dialogue with people for whatever reason, and you keep checking your phone knowing that there isn't going to be anything there, that's, I don't know if that's so much of a toxic trait as some other underlying issue, but this is one that I cannot relate to.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm bored, I need to kill time or what have you, or if I need to look something up for informational purposes, okay, I get that. But other than that, that bitch is sitting down somewhere. It's just isn't that important to me, and I will never allow it to be, ever.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed.
where are you at on that, Tim?
Yeah.
Tim's on his phone fucking 24/7.
I'm playing my slots, okay? I got to get my slots in.
All right. You guys.
I mean, it's just me. It makes me feel bad about myself because nobody ever texts me. So I look at it hoping that somebody texts me, but nobody ever does. It just
I text you at least once a week.
Yeah, that's I look forward to it too. Like, it's the one time a week that I get a text. It makes me feel important.
Oh shit. All right.
No, usually my texts are literally either something stupid from work, you texting me, my wife texting me crazy videos from either Facebook or TikTok, or people texting me wanting work done on their vehicles. And that's the major one. Is usually it's people wanting something. And it's usually work done on their vehicles. That's 90% of my text, usually. Which
I'm a contributor to that, and yeah, sorry. I texted you the other day, hey, is this possible? Okay.
Yeah. No, and that's fine. It's the people that you don't hear from for like a very long period of time, and then all of a sudden they text you and go, "Hey, I got problems with my car." It's like,
my Aunt Mary.
Are
you working?
Yeah. I love your Aunt Mary. She's the sweetest.
Yes, it's so nice.
All right. Number 4 of the number 4 sign that you are toxic to yourself. You take criticism too personally. Does this relate to one of you?
That really depends, though. Like, because so at work, I literally ask my boss every time, like, so is there something I can do better? Like, I crave constructive criticism. It makes me a better person. Like, it makes me a better worker. It makes me better at my job. And it's another set of eyes that's, you know what I mean? That's like watching me that maybe sees if I'm doing something wrong. You know what I mean? Um, and the problem is that I never get it. It's usually always just, oh yeah, no, you're doing a great job. Like, no, I haven't noticed anything. Um, and I told her that, because we have to do like a review of our managers, and one of the things in my review was, you do not give enough constructive criticism. Like, you give me nothing. Like, I can't be perfect, but the thing is that I have a like a boss that's not in our state. She's at our corporate office. So it's very hard for her to watch my work, see what I'm doing, understand what I'm doing, because my job is a lot different than a lot of the other people in other regional offices. So it's probably really hard for her to give me any kind of constructive criticism, but it's something that I like personally. I need to hear it, and I don't take it personally because like you're not a perfect person. So you know what I mean? Like, how can you do everything? Oh no, you're great. All of your work is amazing. And it's just like, yeah, okay. Like, but how can I do better? Because there should always be room for improvement. There should be always new things to learn. But in my personal life, I don't I don't know if I would take it personally. I guess it just depends on what it is. Like if it's something stupid that I don't think is like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't
I
know how I would take it.
think a lot of it has to do with how it's presented too. You know,
Yeah.
if in a professional setting, you're in one frame of mind, you're in your professional frame of mind, and if you feel confident in what you do, that you do a good job, and in by all accounts, you do it better than anybody else. Even if they do the same job, nobody does it as well as you do. You just have that. If you have a good work ethic and you
Right.
give a shit. Um, but if you have a boss, specifically, and I'll use it from my perspective. Um, my immediate supervisor, even though on paper he knows what I do, that little dude has never spent 1 minute doing my job on the line. So for him to offer any kind of constructive criticism in an arrogant way in which he knows what he's talking about, I have to be honest with you when I tell you I shut down. I see him talking, but I'm not listening to a fucking thing he says because he's got no idea what he's talking about. Well,
Right.
my paper here, it says that this should work. Your paper does not relate to real life.
Yeah.
So I do not entertain your bullshit. Now, on the other side of that spectrum, we have our temps who are walking around on eggshells, some of them who aren't self-entitled, because they're worried about losing their job at the drop of a hat. So if a supervisor comes down and barks at them and says, "We want you to do this plus this," they're not going to argue that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but on a personal side, it is especially, this is difficult when you're offering constructive criticism, especially when it's to your significant other. Because same situation or same scenario, if they put something on that you guys are going out tonight, and they put something on that they feel really good about, but for whatever reason, they don't jive. And they ask you, "How do I look? What do you do here?" Do you lie to them or do you tell them the truth? You know what I'm saying? How do you, the truth in terms of how you feel about it? So this is a slippery slope. Yes, please, Amy. I know you're going to have commentary on this.
Tim, why don't you answer his question? Do you lie to me about it or do you tell me the truth?
I don't ever lie. I tell fables. Hold on. What are we talking about? I'm talking about buffaloes over here with Dave. And
See, I can see. Tim,
okay.
if Amy was to ask you, "How do I look?" would you tell her how you really felt, even though?
I always tell her how I really feel.
Okay.
Do you?
Yes.
And you're being truthful?
100%. 1,000,000%. That is not a fable. Like, I tell you the truth. I love you. You are the most beautiful girl in the world. That's you.
If she's wearing something that you think doesn't look good on her, do you tell her?
I've never seen her wear anything bad. My wife has impeccable style.
Fucking A.
Just impeccable style.
Okay.
Like if she wore something shitty, I would tell her, but she has impeccable style.
Okay.
I do like, and I do ask him about like my outfits. Like, is this like? Because I don't know if I'm feeling it.
Like she'll put
And
on a few different things, and I'll tell her which one I like the most. But none of them look bad. It's just one particularly looks better. It's not that they look bad on her. It's just that sometimes one looks better than the other.
right.
Well, if you're getting options, that's one thing. I'm
Yeah.
talking about if she puts something on that she may be on the borderline but feels good about, and like she's okay with it, and asks you, how do I look, or does this look okay, or what have you. If you know without a shadow of a doubt that she's kind of feeling it but just needs that reinforcement, even if you're not really digging it, do you tell her that you're not digging it, or do you just let it ride?
All right. So here's the deal. I'm going to be 100% truthful on this. After we've been married for what 13 years now, going on 13 years, roughly. It doesn't matter what the fuck I say. Like if she doesn't like it, she's gonna go change anyways. Even if I like it, she's gonna put on something else to make herself feel better. So even if I like it, she's
That
gonna
wasn't
change.
the question. You're like totally dodging the question, though.
No, I'm not. I told you the question
the
is.
question is if you thought it looked like shit, and I'm just like, oh, but I'm feeling it. Would you fucking tell me that it looks like shit, Tim?
I would probably tell you if you had shitty clothes, but you got impeccable style. My woman is kind of bougie, you know what I mean? Like she's
I'm
just
not
fucking
bougie.
she's bougie. She's walking around in her nice bags with the nice clothes. Like I don't even know if bougie's a bad thing.
I'm usually in a hoodie and sweatpants.
And that fucking works. It's comfortable. It looks great. Let's rock on. Let's go to fucking E.G. Nick's and have some dinner.
I would no.
I've watched you.
There was a family they were all wearing sweatpants, and we went to E.G. Nick's. And it was yesterday. It was like literally last night. There was a whole family, and I look at Tim and I was like, what is it, like sweatpant day? Like, I would never wear sweatpants to a nice restaurant. And he knows this, and he doesn't feel the same way either, because my mom usually wears sweatpants. And when we went to the melting pot for my birthday, he had made this joke about how, like, well, I hope your mom's not going to wear her sweatpants. Like,
Yeah, but you would never do that. So here's the deal. You never look bad. So this doesn't even pertain to me in any instance. And I'm sure there's been a point in time in all of our years together that you put on something and it was like, does this look good? But you always give me options, you know what I mean? So it's hard to say. Like, you'll be like, does this look good? Or does this look good? Or does this look good? And they all look good, but sometimes it's like, oh, yeah, that looks really good. You know what I mean? Like, you need to wear that. So I've never seen you, like, put on something that's just, like, bad. I mean, I've watched you go to dinner in your slippers. And your slippers are stylish. And I know they are because I fucking bought them for you. I know, but they're stylish. They're like shoes. I know, but they still look good, and you rocked them. Like there was people making comments in the restaurant, like, "Look at those shoes.
Are you fucking serious?
Look at those slippers with the fur." You know what I mean? Like, let's rock on. They look good. You know.
Oh shit, man. This is not what I was expecting when I saw this list. This is great. Let me take you on the complete polar opposite side of this particular scenario, if I can. Oh my god, this is fucking awesome. Anyway, okay. criticism. Let me explain my take on this. As we just had a big chuckle here, now I'm going to get all serious for a second. This is going to be an emotional roller coaster on this episode, and I'm okay with it.
She looks mad at me.
Nah.
I'm gonna go to jail for beating my husband.
Okay, sidebar. Is that a new thing where girls threaten violence on their men?
Oh, no, that's not new. She's been doing it for 16 years.
I get told I'm going to kill you if you do this or the other thing. I'm like, duly
I told
noted.
him I'm gonna smother him in his sleep.
That's all right.
I'm just playing.
That's all right. I told a guy at work today that he was stressing me out, and I was going to go home and take it out on my wife, and it was his fault. So.
Oh, okay. Now, for the criticism thing, I feel like people do take this extremely personally because in their minds, what they're being criticized about, they have put their all into, whether it be their job, whether it be a project, whether it be some other extracurricular activity. If you're an athlete, if you've been working hard on your swing or your fielding or your throwing, and you're feeling really good about it, but you're still getting some sort of some coaching or constructive criticism. Like some people take that as a personal hit. Like even though they know they have given their best, in other people's mind, it still isn't good enough, and it deflates them. This was a thing that I dealt with as a kid, with my writing, with my artwork, things that, you talk about that kind of thing. That's a part of who you are to your core. You are bringing out something within your insides in a representative manner, whether it be a painting or what have you, or you're putting your all into as an athlete, but in somebody else's mind, it's not good enough. So you take that as a personal hit, and we wind up being, not all of us, but a lot of people would be like, then what's the point? And they give up. They just take that shit so hard. I know running MWO, somebody would ask me, hey, did you see my match? Well, clearly I did. What did you think? Well, if you did this instead of that, explain to me why you thought that was a good spot for this. And as I'm explaining it to them, what I took away from it, they took that personally. And even though I gave it to them in the most professional way that I could, without hurting their feelings, they still, like, it crushed them, So we will derail ourselves a lot of times in that aspect. Have you seen that on that level?
I think, honestly, and I'll say this on his honest opinion. Honest opinion on my own part is, I think sometimes it's not even the criticism that we hear from other people, because I myself personally take criticism from other people really well. My biggest problem, and I'm sure my wife can agree with this, is I criticize myself more than anything. And that's the one that really bothers me, is my criticism of myself.
Same.
I downplay myself more, and I think that affects me more than anything anybody could say to me, because honestly, I don't really give a shit what anybody says to me. I know who I am, but my criticism of myself is worse than what anybody else could ever say.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. We're our own worst critics, and I am so hard on myself. Like, one of my big downfalls is that I'm a perfectionist. Even down to like the cookie decorating. It's supposed to be just a fun hobby. But then, like, I'm always like second guessing myself, and then, oh, that looks like shit. Like, I have to scrape it off and redo it. Like, oh, that looks like shit. Does this even look right? And I'll ask him, and he's like, yeah, they look great. And everyone else, oh my God, yeah, they look great. But like, I'm looking at it and I'm just like, no, it doesn't. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Like, why are you lying to me? And then, like, I think that people are lying to me because I'm looking at it and I don't like it. But
Right.
everyone one else does, and yeah, and the same thing with Derby. Like, everyone's like, oh no, like you did really, really good. And I'm like, yeah, but I should have did this and I should have did that. And I should have, well, yeah, but did you see what you did do? And like, this was amazing. And you did this real well. And I'm just like, yeah, but like, we're so hard on ourselves, like so hard on ourselves. And the wrestling thing, that it's really interesting that you bring that up, because anyone who asks someone else about their match and what they think, and then when you give them the feedback, they take it personally, that is a person who's not really looking for feedback on their match. They're looking for compliments. They're
The
fishing for a
attaboys.
compliment. Yes. They're already thinking that they're the shit and they're so great, and they're not really looking to improve themselves. They're not really looking for that constructive criticism or, like anything like that. The ones who get offended when they're the ones that asked are the
Right.
ones who are hurt. They're looking for a compliment. And in that business, there's no room for people like that, because like, yeah, I don't even think they'll give up, because in their mind they're still the fucking greatest thing since sliced bread, and what you're saying is wrong. And then they're going to go on to have matches that are like the shits, because they don't want to listen to anyone. You know what I mean? But they're going to continue asking people because they're looking for that affirmation that they're fucking awesome. And most of the time they're not. Sorry. Not sorry.
No, I was gonna say, what the fuck you apologizing for? That's
Yeah.
100% the truth. You know, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's yeah. But again, I mean, some people, when you take the overinflated ego and the more internal part of that, when any kind of criticism hits them with, in there, that's when they will, in the most extreme cases, just throw their hands up in the air and give up.
Yeah.
Like, obviously I'm not good enough. Well, wait a minute. What are you doing? And I understand the whole premise of being our own worst critics. Man, everybody knows I am. I will work on something, and then I'll put some feelers out there, and they'll tell me, yeah, I like this and I like that, but maybe not this. Could you do something there? In the beginning, be like, oh, you took exception to something that I made, and then as I got older and more used to it, it's like, hey, what are they seeing? And then
Yeah.
let me try to see it from their point of view. And 9 times out of 10, I can be like, oh, okay, I get it. I will improve on that. And more often than not, they're right. Sometimes not so much, but
Yeah.
that's a you thing. You have to make that choice. Do you incorporate it or do you not? Right now, where it's going if you stay the course, but what could be if you took this piece of advice or you tried to tweak it a little bit because somebody else is looking at it. And more often than not, it's part of your target audience. We forget that, especially in a realm like this. When I first started doing podcasting, it took a minute to get my foundation on what I wanted to do or how I wanted to present it or what the ultimate goal was. I wanted to talk. But I had so much I wanted to talk about. How do I do it in the best way possible? Well, here we are 5 years later, and we've got the PFC network, and we're live on a Saturday night. So love that for me.
I feel you on the whole podcasting thing, because I've been very critical of myself from the beginning. Like, I'll listen back to the episodes and I'll go, my audio is not the greatest. And I think I'm the most critical of myself in that aspect. Like, my audio is not that good, so I got to get, better equipment. I got to do this, and my lighting's not great, so I got to get better lighting because we do video, and I got to do this. And my my studio doesn't look that good yet, so I got to buy this for it and all this other stuff. And I think I'm the only one that's fucking critical about it, to be honest.
You're not. When I first started out, ask Jason, I'd be like, am I doing this right? Like, is this a thing? Like, is there something I should be doing that I'm just not? Because I just wanted to produce like a good show, not. I didn't know if I was dropping too many F bombs or if if I was like having diarrhea of the mouth, which I catch myself doing a lot, and then I'll acknowledge it. Like, oh my God, that was like the biggest run on sentence, or oh my God, I just like went into a tangent, or oh my God, I just forgot what the fuck I was gonna say. You know, um,
That happens to me all the time.
yeah, yeah, like you're so not the only one. And, anytime, I mean, I tell you the truth. Because if he ever wore an outfit that looked like shit, I fucking tell him. I'll be like, nah, this ain't right. Just fucking go change. Like I have no qualms.
I wear work clothes every day, and you've never told me I look like shit in those. And I know you're lying about that because fuck those clothes.
You do not come home in your work clothes. You have a fucking changing room and a locker.
I know you don't have to see me in that drab.
All right.
Oh my God.
The fifth sign that you are toxic to yourself. You keep comparing yourself to others. I don't really do this.
Sometimes,
Do what?
I guess.
Do you?
Sometimes.
In what way?
I think it just depends on the person. Like, again, it's mainly at work. It's like none of my friends or anything like that. Like my family, I don't really compare myself. But like at work, if I know someone has like the same title as me, I'm always like comparing like what I do versus what they do. And that sometimes pisses me off and gets the best of me. And then I have to remember that even though we carry the same title, it doesn't necessarily mean we do the same job, because my job looks different on every fucking level because we're a specialized a specialized office that only works on specialty items. So no one's going to have, like, I'm in a certain department and I have a certain title that matches my job duties, but it's not going to match everyone else's job duties because they're not specialty offices. So when I'm like comparing like myself and what I do versus what everyone else does, it gets really hard because it's not like an assembly plant, like where you go in and you're like a machinist or you're in quality, and you know what I mean, you kind of like have the same job and the same level as everyone else. I'm so used to that like I will start to compare, and then I have to remind myself, like, stop it, because there is no comparison, and you can't do that because you're a specialized office. So of course they're not going to do the same shit as me. No one is ever. We were like a really weird acquisition that just worked on certain things. And so it's not going to ever be the same, and that's not their fault. It's not my fault, but I do that every so often.
Have you ever found yourself comparing yourself to anybody else on a personal level?
Sometimes sometimes family members.
Yeah.
But listen, the family member thing is weird because I will get jealous of family members sometimes. Like the little green monster will peer out. And then,
Amy. Go.
well, it's in weird certain situations. So, oh my God. Okay, so I had two sets of grandparents, of course, one of my mom's, one of my dad's. They of course pick one grandchild to sit there and dote on, and it just so happened to be like these two cousins that I have. Like none of them were ever me. None of them were ever my brother. You know what I mean? So like I would get jealous because I would see, yeah, I mean, and one set of grandparents did this thing where if it was any of our birthdays and we had like a birthday party, they would get said other grandchild a gift too so that they wouldn't miss out. Like they were those kinds of grandparents. And then throughout their whole life, they did all of these things for that grandchild and then that grandchild's children, and it was just this thing. And like sometimes I get jealous of that because, like, why not me? Why not my kids? And then I compare my life to theirs, and then I feel better because I am leaps and bounds. I've worked very hard for where I'm at right now. I've worked very hard for the life that I have, and they haven't, and they don't have anywhere near like what I have. And it's not material items. It's the family, the happiness. You know what I mean? Like where I'm at career wise, where my children are at, like I will compare myself. Like if I were to get all those things and that shit was to happen to me, like what if I was the favorite grandchild or whatever? You know what I mean? Um I don't think I would be where I'm at. I think I would be where they're at, and that's not somewhere I want to be. And that's very unfortunate for them. But when I get jealous, I will compare my life to theirs, and then it makes it okay for me. Because without that, that's I'm like it's a really weird thing. You know what I mean? Like I'm not comparing myself to them because I need to compare myself to others. Like I never compare myself to my friends. Like cuz I feel like everyone's in a different spot and like that's the spot that they're supposed to be in, you know what I mean? And like I just don't compare that shit, but because of certain like little childhood traumas and the shit that me and my brother went through as kids, like I'm always like, why couldn't I be that good? Like, why does my grandparents not love me as much as they love them? Why don't they love my kids as much as they love them? And and then I'm like, yeah, but wait a second. If I were to have that, then I would be where they're at, and that's just not somewhere that I want to be. It may be okay for them to be there, but I do compare my life to theirs, and then I'm just like, well, thank God that didn't happen to me because I wouldn't be this hard of a worker, I wouldn't nearly have as many opportunities as what I have now. I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling now.
You said trauma. That's the wrong show, honey. This isn't the trauma show.
Well, what the fuck do you want me to say? Like, what other word is there for it?
Oh, we can go down a road with trauma, but I'd I'd rather not go into trauma here. Like I've heard trauma enough for my I don't want to hear trauma anymore. No, I get you. I just wanted to make the trauma comment because I once listened to this podcast that just talked trauma, and I just felt like I was traumatized by it. So oh, sorry.
Oh, the shit. No.
I get where she's coming from, and I know that. And but when you're talking about people getting jealous of other people, I don't myself normally get jealous of people, but it may come across that way. But sometimes I get put in these situations where I feel like, I'm the better fit for these situations. Like, so I should be in this position, but I got fucked in that position. And I'd be much better in it. And it might come across as jealousy, but it's really not jealousy. It's just fucking me knowing who I am and what I could do and what I bring to the table, it makes me feel that way. But when you talk about, other things, to go back there, and I had this in my mind from the beginning of that conversation about, family and stuff like that. And like, we've got a family who, like, I don't know if they feel jealous of us, but like, there's situations where like we'll go and buy something. They have to go buy something bigger. Or we'll go buy a new car and they have to buy something better. Or we'll do this and then they have to go do this. It's like the keeping up with the Joneses, and it's like a race to see who can get there, but they can never keep up. But I see where you're coming from in that situation, because we've been in those situations looking out on other people doing that. But I don't think myself personally, I get jealous of people, but sometimes it comes across that way. Only because, I don't know, maybe I'm an asshole and I just feel like I'm better than everybody else. I'm the greatest thing going. I'm a fucking man's man, and everybody should just look up to me.
Okay, well, that's going to be the one.
I don't know. I wanted to get that out. Dave's got me talking in here. We're talking about fucking Tommy Klein shit, and he's making Vic Vanity comments, and I said Vic Vanity's not as good as too damn Tommy Klein. Too damn fine Tommy Klein.
Who is he?
It's David Melbourne. He is a legend. He's a legend. It's Vic Vanity, a.k.a. Fatty McFatterson, a.k.a. one of the most badass people I know.
I still don't know who the fuck he is, and I've never heard you say his name, so...
I've said his name many times.
Obviously, he's not that badass.
So, do you remember, so all things aside, do you remember Chase has the one friend, Brennan? Brennan's dad in Port Huron has a neighbor, Dave, who vouched for us, so Brennan could go, or so Chase could go over to Brennan, or Brennan could come spend overnight over here. Okay, yeah. And Dave was like, "Oh yeah, Tim's a good guy," and all that stuff. That's Dave.
That he was a good dude. Okay.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
There's
Dave.
One time that you mentioned him.
So now we got to talking here. I'm in fucking Tommy Klein mode now, so. Like, we're all talking shit in the chat, and you can't see it, honey, but we're going back and forth and Tom. Yeah.
Tell him I said hi.
Amy says hi, Dave. He can hear you, by the way. He's watching the show.
He's watching. All right.
And he said you would know Kurt because he's been friends with Kurt for, I don't know, 375 years or some shit, because they're all old.
I do know Kurt.
I look at.
Apparently, he's teaching Brennan the guitar now. So
that's awesome.
Yes.
I look at the comparison thing like this, and I hadn't considered this until Amy said something about family, and when she said that, I immediately thought of a situation that I am aware of, not that I'm involved in, but that I'm aware of. That still, even though I'm not directly involved, it hits real close to home. Okay. I think of a scenario where family members will often compare themselves to somebody else when they see that somebody else is flourishing. And when they are flourishing, despite every obstacle and every reason under the sun as to why they should not be flourishing, and they still are, then you get that jealousy, you get that comparison, and you get sometimes a low-key and sometimes not so subtle ways of them trying to keep that person down, trying to pull them down as they're moving up. I am aware of a situation like this, well, a couple of them, but one more prominently than others. And the thing that pisses me off more than anything, because, again, I'm an outsider looking in, and I look at shit way differently. But they rely too heavily, way too heavily, in a way to justify their bullshit behavior. Well, we're family. this is just the way it is. We're family. You have to accept this is the way it is. No, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself and what your definition of family is. Because let me tell you what family is supposed to be, Jack. It's supposed to be that grouping of people that is going to love and support you, respect you unconditionally and wholeheartedly. And when you can't do that, when you treat other people and compare yourselves, and because there is that level of jealousy, when you see that other person rise above mediocrity, because that's where they're content in, this is the biggest issue with me right now. And I could go real deep onto a sidebar, and like I really, really fucking want to, because I don't dwell on it a lot, but when I sit here and think about it, and I think about how it has affected people that absolutely mean the world to me, man, I get fired the fuck up. And they justify their bullshit behavior. Well, we're family. This is just what families do. No, it's not. Your definition of family is fundamentally fucked. And it's unfortunate because instead of breaking that cycle, instead of being that individual that steps out of that to break that, to really put the spotlight and the emphasis on what the real definition of a family is, and quit this comparison and contrast, and which feeds into the jealousy thing, your life is going to go a whole lot smoother and a whole lot less bullshit and drama along the way. That is just my 2 cents on that. Maybe I'm off my rocker.
No, you're pretty spot on.
Okay, I appreciate that, Amy. Thank you.
You're welcome, Jason.
All right, the 6th sign that you are toxic to yourself: you sleep a lot to avoid life. I think at some point we've all gone through bouts of this, whether it be a couple of days, in some cases a couple of years. But, life gets to be too overwhelming for a lot of us. Too much shit happening at one time, to where the easy solution is just to shut ourselves down and just go into hibernation mode. Even if you're not fully like in a deep sleep, you're not leaving your bed. You're blocking out the rest of the world. It's too much. You don't want to deal with it. And in the process, you're of the mindset of out of sight, out of mind. But whatever that issue is, it's still going to be a thing when you do get back up. So this is a very toxic thing that we can do to ourselves instead of tackling shit head on, and we just kind of submit to it. Oh, it's the way of the world and I can't take it. You knocked me down. I can't get back up. I understand that mindset, and I was there for a hiccup. But I also realized real quick, like, this is not the way it's supposed to be. It can't be this way. I can't live life like this, because we get one shot at this thing, man, and I'll be goddamned if I'm going to be spending an exuberant amount of time hiding from the world when I have the capability in my mind to make the world my bitch. You feel me?
I do. I mean, I don't really do that per se. I know I get tired a lot. I'm just fucking exhausted. I don't do it like to block out the whole world. I mean, I guess sometimes I will. I don't know.
The thing of it is, Amy, and Tim, for that matter, I feel like this is more of a generational thing. Our generation generally didn't do this.
Right.
Our generation didn't necessarily hide. I mean, some did. There is a percentage that did, but by and large, this is just not how we were wired. This is not how we were brought up. I feel like I hear this more with the younger demographic, where and two, they have a lot more capabilities to be seen, to be heard, and to receive feedback of any kind, positively or negatively charged. And when they have gotten themselves so out there across all this, the platforms on social media and your blogs and your this and your that, we have the capability to be seen and heard and put out on, to the masses a hell of a lot more than we did when we were kids. So when you get all of that on top of what real life hands you, I can see where it can be overwhelming, and it's easy to just kind of throw the covers over your head and hope the problem or the issue goes away. The problem is it doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't sleep a lot to begin with. Number one, I mean, not like I need by any stretch,
Yeah.
But I certainly I don't sleep just to avoid life, regardless of what kind of bullshit I'm involved in or got myself into or whatever the case may be. So I don't know. Something that I really can't relate to, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know if I can relate to it, except for like if you're like overwhelmed with sadness or like someone passes away, like I can see it, laying in bed for a little bit. Well, like for like a lot of it. Like, just to give yourself that time and, that space kind of away, not answering a whole bunch of texts, not trying to go out and run the roads without a clear head. You know what I mean? Like I think some people need that, and like I know that I've done that maybe like a couple of times, just to give myself some space when like shit was not going right. Like the only the only room to do it in is kind of like your bedroom. Like that's your safe space. Oh, I hate even saying safe space. Um like that's like your private, like your most private space is like where you sleep. So it would make sense if you're like grieving or you just need some time, but to like continue that or anytime fucking life hits you hard, no, no. But I can see people needing that, just to because of technology and all that shit. Go ahead, Tim. Go ahead.
I was just sleeping to get away from my problems. No, I don't. I mean, I can't relate to this at all. To me, sleep is, I mean, the faster you go to sleep, the faster you have to go to work tomorrow, and I try to avoid it. So, I can't relate to this one at all.
Same.
Looks at me like I can relate to it. One of you never known to me. I feel like fucking Joe Biden now. Fuck. Maybe I need sleep. Damn it. Just taking 4 p.m. naps.
And yeah, and I'm a weird one. Like I need to get like 7-8 hours of sleep at night. Otherwise, I just can't function. Like I am at that point in my life where like I need sleep, and a lot of the time I am just so fucking exhausted when I get home. I'm just like, oh my god, don't fucking talk to me. Like I just want to eat and fucking go to bed. Like
You guys are fucking talking about sleep and it's making me yawn. You're making me tired.
we're usually not up this late. Which
I
is
know. I just looked at the
fucking
clock. It's
weird.
midnight. I'm like, fuck. We're like 2 hours over our bedtime.
Right.
My goodness.
Yeah, we're old.
Right. Well, we've got one more here.
Let's do it. Make it a fucking good one. Let's roll.
Okay.
Shit about sleep or bring up something that can bring up some trauma here. Okay.
The seventh sign that you are toxic to yourself. You agree with other people's opinion, even when you have a different one.
Nope.
No,
I don't.
no, that's not a good one. What the fuck? Yeah, that's not. You're talking to the wrong group here. We need to get some more people on here. Like, this is not us. This is for some bullshit people. There's nothing wrong with me.
Stop!
No, I'm just joking. It's not for bullshit people. I apologize. I've been drinking and I'm tired. It's midnight, okay? I apologize. That's not what I meant to say. Fuck, we're live. Damn it, I'm gonna cry.
I know people that do this. I know people that do this on so many levels. On a professional level, on a personal level. I've watched people flip-flop their opinions 3 times over the course of a conversation. One conversation based on what's being presented. Now, I understand being educated and changing your mind one way or the other, but when you are flip-flopping more than Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff in the 1980s, and you're going from face to heel within a 3-month period several times over, you are disqualifying any credibility that you bring to the conversation. Number one. And number two, why do you feel like you don't have a right or you don't have the capability to stand up for whatever your opinion is? There are things that Tim and I will agree on, and there are things that we will not agree on. Same goes for me and Amy. Same goes for me and anybody else that I have anything to do with on any level. We're just not going to agree on everything.
But Carolina Panthers.
Well, right, or the Michigan Wolverines, but be that as it may, it's not going to affect our friendship. It's not going to affect how I feel about the person. So, I mean, it's okay to have a difference of opinion. Now, how that shit is presented, this is what has, especially when you start bringing religion or politics into the conversation, this is where relationships get severed, because they don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to receive what they're hearing. They don't know how to agree to disagree, whatever the case may be. But if you are succumbing, if you're willing to just fold on your stance, regardless of how strong you feel, just to agree with somebody else during the course of the conversation, again, to just make shit run smoother, that's a fucking problem. Okay, and that is a sign of how much self-respect you have for yourself, or their lack of. Now, straight up, I had done this for the sole reason of just eliminating that friction. You know, you see what I'm saying? Because I didn't want to get into an argument over something that I believed in. You know, okay, I see what you're saying, and you're absolutely right. And you know, you've educated me. I don't do that shit no more. If you can't respect my opinion while I am respecting yours, and we can move on, then I really don't need to be a part of the scenario, the situation, or the relationship. If it goes so deep where it starts to, again, disrupt your internal peace, I'm just not entertaining that shit. I respect just about everybody. You know, there are some that I don't, and if I don't, I just don't have anything to do with them, straight up. But you know, if we correspond, you know, if we have different political views or things of that nature, that's just the way it is. Still like you, I'll still invite you over for a barbecue. I don't give a fuck. It's not everybody can do that though. They just, again, they submit because they don't want to deal with it, I guess, for the lack of a better term. I don't know, Amy, you don't really seem like you would fall into this category either.
I mean, I have have like at work, but it's kind of like what you said, like there are a lot of different people, and if someone says something that I don't like or that I don't necessarily agree with, if it's at work, I usually won't say anything. I don't agree with them, but I don't disagree with them either. You know what I mean? Like I just am like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And just listening to them talk and just being like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I'm like acknowledging, like what they're saying, letting them know that I am listening, even if I disagree with it. Um and that's about it, because I just don't feel like, number one, I don't feel like work is the place to be talking about those things. And if they feel that way, and that, you know what I mean? Like that they want to bring up political shit or, religion or, anything like that. I'm usually like, it's not worth the argument and it's not worth the fight. And because our country is so divided on those things, like I don't want no part of it. So it's just kind of like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It just acknowledging that they're saying it, but then I don't sit there and tell my side, because I don't need to tell my side. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
my side is not going to change how they feel. And that's probably the number one question I ask myself internally while they're spewing their stuff that I don't agree with is what is about to come out of my mouth. Is it going to change them in any way, shape, or form? Is it going to change their mind about it? Is it going to educate them about it? And the answer is no. So more times, more times than yes, the answer is no. I shouldn't say the answer is always no. But if there's like something that's not like a major headline, like, that they're saying like, well, I think you should do an Excel spreadsheet this way because this is like the easiest way. If I know that it's not, I will say like, no, I don't really agree with that. Like this is the way that I found, and I found it much more easier, but that's also just an opinion. You know what I mean? So like some stuff I will, but some I don't. I always try to ask myself, is this going to change anything if I say it? You know what I mean? And if the answer is no in my head, I just simply, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, okay, thank you, and then go about my business and just, because it's just not worth it. It really just isn't worth it. Um, but on the outside, if it's like one of my friends that's spewing some shit and like I know I can educate them, even if I know that it's not going to change their mind, I will say something usually. But I also know that the people that I say it to, because there's some that I can't, but the people that I do say it to, I know that they can take it and respectfully disagree with me back, even if it doesn't change their mind. Like Liz. Liz is a perfect example. If Liz said something that I didn't agree with, I feel like I could tell Liz, well, this is the way I kind of see it. And if she still doesn't agree, like I know that she's just going to be like, well, we'll just agree to disagree. And it's like, okay, like there's no hard feelings there. You know what I mean? So like I feel like I can be open and honest with, like real people, like my real friends, but to people that I don't know very well, or to like colleagues, it's usually it is something going to come out of this if we have this conversation. And again, more times, than not, the answer is no. So I just keep my mouth shut, and I'm just like, okay, well, cool, you know. And it seems to work for me, but I mean, usually I'm a pretty opinionated people or person, but I'm also one of those people where like I want you to educate me. Like I want you to debate me. If you don't think what I'm saying is right, which is why I kind of think that me and Tim get along so well and like why we work, cuz he's not afraid to educate me and I'm not afraid to educate him. And he has changed my mind actually on more things that I thought he would. And it's because like I'm listening to you. Like I'm truly listening. I'm not just letting it go in one ear and out the other because I don't agree. It's because I may not be as educated, or if I am, I don't know if I've ever changed Tim's mind on anything. But I know that he has with me, and it's because I actively listen and I want to know more about it. I want to know more about a side that I'm not seeing, stuff like that. Um, I always want to know, the facts surrounding stuff. So I like open dialogue, but if it's not really open and if it's not really going to make a difference because other people are close-minded, then I'm just like, meh, whatever. I don't let it bother me.
I can say you have changed my minds on things, and I can also say like sometimes I didn't change your mind. Like I remember we've had plenty of arguments in the past, especially whether or not like Blu-ray or DVD, what the future was going to hold. And like we
That
had
was
a
our
whole,
legit first argument ever. We
yeah.
were at dinner and
I
I
mean,
got so pissed. He was trying to convince me that Blu-ray was gonna fucking stick around, and I'm like, no, it's gonna be just like the mini CDs that they made. Like
Mm.
it's just gonna be a fad. It's gonna go, and he's like, nope, this shit's gonna stick around forever. And I
but
got so mad. I got up and I left.
I can tell you in
Like
that
I
situation
fucking
though.
walked out of the restaurant.
Yeah.
Like I was so pissed at him. We got in this big ass argument. And here it is later. And that was our very first argument. And Blu-rays fucking stayed. And I was like, fuck you, Tim.
Well, actually, to be all honest, we were both wrong because neither one of them really are a thing anymore. It's all streaming now, so we'll
Right.
both take a loss on that one. But I can. We need to get to a point where we can have conversations and we can have some constructive criticism going on in these conversations, and whether or not we agree or not, at the end of the day, we're still having these conversations and we can walk away from them without hating each other over them. We're all going to have conversations where we don't agree with each other, and we need to find ways to get to that point where you know we can do this without anger and without remorse. I do this every week, every Wednesday. I have conversations with a colleague of mine on a podcast, and he happens to be a Carolina fan. And I don't look down on him for it because he's wrong. You know what I mean? I just let it go. We got to get to the point where we can do that. Sorry, Jason.
You're fucking terrible today. I am
No.
never gonna let you drink that much ever again.
No. Sorry, I had to throw that in there. I apologize. No, but in all seriousness, like, yes, Jason was making a point. Like, you could disagree with people and you could still have them over for a barbecue and hang out. We can all have disagreements and things, and we're not all going to change our minds, based on what somebody else is going to say to you. The only thing that we need to get back to is just realizing that we're all people. We don't need to agree with each other, but we don't have to hate each other over the problems, that are outside of our control. Like, why are we hating each other over that? You know what I mean? We all have the same little problems in life. Let's all just come together and enjoy life together and not have to argue over stupid shit that is not in our control anyways.
Along those lines, allow me to share this comment that was sent in here by David. He writes, but we also have to remember that just because everyone has an opinion, then not all opinions are equal. That is, it's a pretty bold statement to make, because there are going to be people that hear that or see that, and they're not going to, like, what I think is going to be important may not be as important in Tim's frame of mind or in Amy's frame of mind. So this is going to wind up being a subjective thing. You know, things that I am passionate about, you guys may not be, and vice versa. I'll use this as an example, and it's no disrespect, but I'm just trying to put it in some degree of context, especially under the umbrella of golf, right?
How did I know you were going to go to golf? I was just about to say golf. That's why it's only Tim's 2-minute golf review. It's 2 minutes. Fuck off, okay? It's only 2 minutes out of the hour and 20 minutes we go. Sorry.
Listen. Up until we started this show, Tim, I had absolute zero desire, zero interest in trying to learn anything about it because it just didn't appeal to me. I don't understand it. It's not my thing. But we started this show, and you very early on, you made it known that golf was an important part of your fandom as a sports fan. And I respect you so much. I'm like, okay, because it's this important to you, I need to get out of my comfort zone to learn about this. And in the process, I started watching the Top Flight show. Is that what it's called on Netflix? I started watching that.
The First Swing.
Okay. Whatever their docu-series is. I started watching it because it was important to me to let you know that I take this very seriously. I don't agree with the level of fandom that you have for it because no matter how much I learn, I know it's just not something I'm going to be as passionate about as I am about, say, baseball, right? But I do respect you and your opinion enough to where I'm going to go through the time and put in the effort to try to learn about this. So I do have some sort of feedback when you are talking about golf. Now, other people will hear that and they'll be like, well, that's your job. No, it doesn't have to be my job. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be, but I still, I know this is important and I could sit here and just shit all over it just for some sort of comedic purposes. But again, that's not what that show is all about. You know what I mean? So it's a sign of respect, and it is my effort to not go too far into what the seventh sign of being, toxic to yourself. Just because I may not share your opinion doesn't mean I don't respect your opinion. And based on, going back to what David had said, this is a subjective thing because what I find important and what you find important may not be on the same level. But we have to understand more than anything, we have to be respectful of what people feel or how they feel if they come about it in a thought out process and with a well thought out process. And there's actually some legitimate foundation for that idea or that opinion, and not just because it's what's drawing the most attention on fucking TikTok. Oh, I want to be a part of something cool, but I have no fucking idea what the fuck I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like that's a whole different conversation. Just
now I feel bad about my Carolina comment. I'm sorry, Jason.
Can you read his quote again?
Hold on. Yeah, before you do that, I just want to say something. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, I just want to say, you know how I know that this woman is my penguin? She's my life partner. When I came home from work Friday afternoon, I walked through the door, and you know what my wife was doing? She was sitting in front of the TV watching the Masters. Like, I love this woman. She's just watching on her own. This is my life partner. This is my penguin. I love her. And Carolina is a fine team, Jason. I have to. just giving you. It's just the one thing that I can. It's comedic purposes. There's nothing wrong with Carolina. When Cam Newton was there, they went to the Super Bowl. It's a great program. They're just going through some struggling times. I feel bad about everything I said, and this has changed me forever.
I appreciate that, Tim. I truly do. Now, if
I'm not gonna say Wednesday. I'm not gonna say anything about Carolina, but I only do that for the same reason that you're kind of offsetting in the Kansas City. It's the city term. We can't agree on everything. You know what I mean? The show would be fucking boring.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, but I love that woman right there. She's to the left of me on my screen. I don't know where she is to everybody else. So when I'm pointing, I'm saying I'm loving this person. It's my wife. I just want to say, like, she's beautiful. I mean, Jason, you're beautiful too. Just in case, I
appreciate that, pal.
Yeah.
I really do. No, in all seriousness, I really appreciate you guys jumping on here tonight. I know it's way past your bedtime, and I swear to God, when I set out to do this here tonight, I did not anticipate any of this. So this was a very welcomed surprise. So I
literally was like, Jason's on live and there's like a link activated to join. I'm gonna go get a couple more beers and go downstairs. I was like, go for it.
Oh, this was good. This was a good time.
I was watching it, and then I was like, okay, fuck this. I'm going to hop on, too.
I really appreciate you, too. And in all seriousness, all right, now that the topic part is over, I am never somebody that harps on this. I'm just not. But this past Wednesday, I had a birthday, and it was, it wasn't one of those milestone years, but it's one of those years that it's the last one before a milestone, and you sit and you do a lot of reflecting. You reflect on what brought you to the here and now, the people that you have in your life, the ones that were significant for whatever reason at some point, and where they are and why they're not with you in the here and now. I've spent a lot of time this week thinking about my life in general and who I dedicate my time to. You know what I mean? Obviously, my girl and our respective 4 kids between us, priority. That's at the center of it. And then I started thinking about, the other people in my life that I've had the fortune, absolute privilege to have as part of my inner circle in the here and now. And I have said, I talk about you two quite often, at least a handful of times a week. It doesn't matter where I'm at. In some regard, I'm able to incorporate you two into some degree of an example or a story or what have you. So while I have you both on here right now, and this is the flagship show, this isn't the real podcast every other Saturday, and this sure shit is not the sports reel podcast on every Wednesday. This is the flagship show. So I will tell you this. You two are so incredibly special and important in my inner circle, not just in the PFC network, but in my life as personal as it gets. I don't have a lot of people in my inner circle. I don't have a lot of people in my life where I feel like there is such a huge degree of trust and respect for. I just don't. Especially in the last several weeks, other people have really presented themselves in who and what they truly are, and decisions were made as to whether or not they were going to continue having a seat at the proverbial table. They didn't make the cut, if I can be honest with you. But I think about you two, and you guys are I don't tell you enough how incredibly special and important you are to me personally as my friends, but also professionally as hosts of your respective shows on this network. That is just about everything to me. I was just not including my family, my girl and our 4 kids, our respective for the 4 kids, my 2, her 2. I just wanted you to know that. You know, I truly love you and I appreciate you. And knowing that you guys were on here tonight, it really, I needed this. You know, I wasn't having the best day today, and I really needed this. And it's almost like you two picked up on that, and I really appreciate you. So thank you.
You're so sweet. Thank you. That was so nice. Tim's crying.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Doesn't take a lot to get it out of me. No, we appreciate you too, brother, and more than you probably realize. I appreciate you not only in this venture of podcasting, but you've done it on more than one occasion. You've been able to give me a voice to get my voice out there, whether it was in this aspect, in podcasting, or if it was in wrestling. It seems to, you're the common factor there, and I really appreciate that. And I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. And I wouldn't see myself doing it with anybody other than you. And I'm glad that I've got the opportunity to work with you once again in this aspect. And just like you said, the same way I keep my circle very, very small, and you're in that circle. So I'm glad that, it's you, and we love you too, man.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. I really do. And we appreciate everybody tuning in here tonight. And apparently this got, some pretty positive feedback. So, this may become a more frequent thing here as far as the flagship show goes. But if you didn't catch us live here on Saturday night, this will be our Tuesday drop. So you'll be able to go back and listen to this on the traditional RSS feed on iTunes and Spotify and iHeartRadio, all that other shit. So I do want to make a couple of mentions real quick. You'll be able to hear Tim on Wednesday with the Sports Reel podcast. Amy and I are going to get our schedules back in alignment. I'm not going to be able to do this week for the Real podcast, but the following week, look for the next episode of the Real podcast. And also, there was one more thing. Oh, I do have to make mention of this real quick. The next episode of Fatal 4-Way, which is scheduled for April the 25th, will not be on ONTV. Instead, we will be simulcasting across our PFC platforms right here on Facebook, YouTube, and Riverside.fm for one night only. Scheduling conflict came into play, so we're going to move the show here to our streaming platforms, and it will be our WrestleMania review show. So we're looking for that. I'm actually, man, as we're recording this right now, this time next week, I will be at WrestleMania. So or in Las Vegas for WrestleMania weekend. And I just want to say this also. I don't want to get too granular. I got to be real respectful about this, just because here's the thing. People talk too much shit. And I have talked to you guys on a personal level about this, but I get questioned frequently. Why don't you get more specific when you're talking about aspects of your personal life? Here's why. Because people don't know how to mind their fucking business. So as a protective measure, I don't put a whole lot out there. But next weekend, or this weekend that's coming up, I should say, as this show drops, I'm going to be embarking on something that is truly special and significant and something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. And it wouldn't be a thing if it wasn't for my one and only. And I just wanted to express my appreciation, my excitement, because we're going to be spending next weekend in Las Vegas for WrestleMania weekend, and I just cannot fucking wait, if I can be honest with you. So
I'm so excited for you. That's going to be great. You better take lots of pictures.
It's in one of the greatest cities ever, too. I think you're going to have a hell of a good time.
For sure.
We actually extended our stay a day because we wanted to take a day to kind of explore Las Vegas. I have never been there. She's never been there. So we decided to extend our trip a day just to kind of, see the sights. And I realize there's so much going on. You can't do it all in one day. Look, I get it. Calm the fuck down. But this is our first trip like this, So we're very much looking forward to it. And, there will be pictures. There will be video. Well, we're going to at least I am, for the Fatal 4-Way. I'm going to be filming as much as I can for a feature on a future episode, like my weekend or my WrestleMania experience. And I haven't been to a WrestleMania since 23 in 2007 when it was here at Ford Field. And so it's going to be real cool. We're looking forward to it. But, they have a lot of no phone policies going on with these WWE events, specifically the Undertaker's one-man steak show that he's got going on. You got to put your shit in a locked bag when you go in. Like they're so kind of sucks. I won't be able to get like pictures of that particular environment, but a couple of bad apples fucked it up for everybody else in their hopes of going viral. You know what I mean? So it's ruined it for you fucking marks. Can't have anything nice. Can't have anything nice. So I'll have a full report when I come back. So
I can't wait.
Anyway, I appreciate you too. Thank you so much. April the 15th, the PFC summer lineup drops. PFC's summer.printify.me. Over 150 items have been added. So you'll be able to.
Hopefully my show will be on there this time.
Oh, shit. No, Amy, you got a lot of shit on there.
Yay.
There's a koozie with your face on it. There's
that's what I need.
There's a flag that you can buy for the side of your house. There's bathing suits. There's hats. There's shirts. There's Crocs. There's all kinds of shit.
Does the flag have her face on it?
It does not. Do you want me to make one?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
World. And knowing that she's a big fan of fish, there's a whole separate lineup. AmyLovesFish.com. I'm just kidding. Don't go to that. you got to listen to the last episode of her show, The Real Podcast, to know what we're talking about.
Yeah, well, and let me tell you real quick, when we went to Florida, the ocean was closed. We couldn't even get in. There was like beach guards and shit. It was like a double red flag. The fucking shit was coming in. Like there was apparently a strong current, and like the whole time we were there, so like no one could even go in the ocean.
No shit.
Yeah.
So no fish for her.
I haven't talked to you guys since you've been back.
Yeah, zero fish. We went swimming in the pool, but
no fish in there.
Well, I hope not.
No, but there was a hot tub with lots of germs.
It was so gross. It was like skin paste on the side. It was so nasty, Jason. I know.
She's like, don't put your back up against the wall. I'm like, why? She's like, look it, and it's just slime.
Oh
it
my
was So
And then
fucking
these little
disgusting.
kids hopped in there and they started hacking and coughing in the water. I'm like, let's get the fuck out of here. This is a germ fest. I'm going to jump in the
fucking
pool.
cesspool.
See, my last experience with I really am trying to wrap this up for you guys so you can go to bed. But the last experience that we had at a hot tub or a public pool at a hotel like that wound up causing some degree of controversy to the point to where once the rest of my family left the area, I went back and had a conversation on how a particular gentleman could be better at handling a life situation because he conducted himself in a way that was less than ideal, and it made my girl and her kids feel a certain kind of way. So I had to go address the situation. And I don't like, I know this is going to sound bad, but I don't like people. I don't like what people have become. And it's instances like that make it the way that it is. I love my people. I'll go to bat for my people any day of the week and twice on Sunday. You feel me? But general population and the sense of entitlement, no room, no wiggle room with me, man. I'm too set in my ways at this point. I'm not the get off my lawn guy, but I am the you will respect my family guy. You know what I mean? I do not fucking play with that. And the more I thought about it, like, no, this shit needs to be addressed. I may have had a little bit to drink too, but that's neither here nor there. I would have done the same thing regardless, you know?
Right.
So, anyway, I'll have a full Las Vegas report here next week on the show.
Good deal.
I'm sure on Amy's next one, she can fill you in on our whole vacation.
I'm looking forward to do it. I really am. So, for sure. Well, with that, we appreciate everybody tuning in here live on the live stream and the RSS feed if you're listening to us on demand. Stay tuned to our socials. Hit the like and subscribe button on YouTube. Get notified each and every time we go live with all of our great shows here. And stay tuned to the Clouse to the Heart or PFC Entertainment Network Facebook pages or pfcnetwork.net. With that, go out, be awesome to yourselves and to each other. We'll see you next week right here on the Clouse to the Heart podcast, the flagship show of the PFC Entertainment Network.
Yay.
Jesus God.
Oh, that was great. I'm so glad you guys were on here tonight.
Me
That made it
too.
so good.
Like, we're so lame. We have nothing better to do. We're like, let's go fucking bust in on Jason's show. Well, I wasn't even planning on it, but then Tim got on there and he's like, I'm drunk. I was like, oh God.
We should do like a serious no holds barred episode. Like we'll plan on it. We'll pick a day. We'll get together somewhere, whether it be here or there. I'll bring my shit.